Hi guys, so this is my ed talk about teaching the standards part 2, which was specific to our own content areas. My section really focuses on how we should teach reading and writing in the English classroom using the Common Core State Standards. So it talks about how the standards get more complex as the students progress through their education, which kind of seems like obvious knowledge, but when you're looking at the standards, they're not that clear on this. But as teachers, this is something that we need to keep in mind, that it does need to be getting more and more complex as they go through. The Common Core standards focus on 3 types of writing, which are argumentative, explanatory, and narrative. And then it also has reading and writing. And for reading, it's really about reading a variety of complex text, where we have to look at the levels of meaning, knowledge, the knowledge demands that it has, the language that it's used, the grammar, the sentence structure, and more, to really determine if the reading is at a complex enough level for our students. It also focuses on language abilities, speaking and listening, and using technology. So as teachers, we need to use the Common Core standards and hold our students to high expectations and be encouraging to them and help them meet those high expectations. Because ultimately, if we believe they can do it, then they'll start to believe they can do it, and then they'll be able to do it. Our students often don't read because they're bored, so we need to make sure that we're differentiating instruction so that they're not getting bored. Because the book was saying that most reading, especially in textbooks, is aimed towards the middle students, the students who kind of get it but don't really need help, but are just kind of there going through school, which means that our lower students think it's too difficult and get bored, and our more advanced students don't see it as a challenge and they're bored. So we really need to make more challenges and more scaffolding to help these students so that they don't get bored. So a few strategies to use for readers who need scaffolded instruction would be kind of in the pre-reading, would be to have them know why they're reading, because a lot of the times students don't think anything is relevant, and so that's why they just kind of give up, because they see no purpose in it. So why should they do it? So if we have them know why they're reading, provide them with background knowledge so they actually know something about the topic that they are reading, and that might spark a little bit more of an interest. And also use visual aids before we start, because that can also kind of draw them in, intrigue them, and really capture their attention. When it comes to writing, we need to provide rubrics that clearly state our expectations in relation to the types of writing that they're going to be doing. Because if they don't know what's expected of them, they don't know how to meet those expectations, and sometimes they'll get lost and give up. Ultimately, in order to motivate our students, we need to make sure that the content is relevant to their lives and make sure that we're scaffolding them. Even when it comes to whole class discussion, sometimes students are intimidated, they don't really know what to do. So for whole class discussion, for an example, we need to kind of start them off with small group discussion that leads to whole class discussion. That way they're familiar with the format and they don't feel as ridiculous talking in class. The Common Core standards also discuss the importance of teaching vocabulary, because this was kind of a weak area in the prior years in education. So there's 3 tiers of words that students kind of need to learn as they go through their education, which are everyday words, which are like the first tier, general academic words, and then our domain-specific words that are going to really help them be superstars in our content areas. Overall, the Common Core State Standards, they're great general guidelines, but as teachers we need to develop meaning behind the standards to improve our classroom and to kind of help guide our students on their journey through education. Thank you.